and Regi Show. Don't just look for chemistry, look for connection. This week's topic is, what's love got to do with it? The link between love and matrimony is relatively recent. Through most of human history, love was not at all the point of marriage. Now, let's all welcome our hosts,
Thank you so
Maria
much for
and
staying with us.
Regi
We are
Rodgers.
going to be talking about love versus lust. And this is Maria and our number one relationship coach.
See Regi Rodgers.
Yes. Don't just look for chemistry, but look for
a connection.
Connection, yes.
You like that. Every week you like that. You hang on to that. You really like that.
That is our tagline. So I want you guys to keep on repeating that. Don't just look for a chemistry, but look for connection.
That is
connection.
important.
And this is really good, Reggie, because it goes with our topic today, love and versus lust.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the chemistry is the lust, and the connection is the love.
Yeah,
it can be, right?
It can definitely be that way because there are so many people who think that lust is love, but I tend to believe that lust typically just leads to a night of hot sex. And so you can't misconstrue the two. So that's why we want to be able to differentiate today on our show so that people get a clear understanding of what is lust, what is love, because people oftentimes feel like they're one and the same, and they are really not one and the same.
Yes, I believe they are totally different.
Yes.
I think a lot of people understand that, but when it comes to the connection,
Yes.
it has to go hand in hand, because how could you get a connection without that attraction, that physical attraction to the other person? Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, but it's almost like asking someone, okay, so you say you guys have chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then I come back and say, well, do you have a connection? And then you say, okay, but I love them. Well, how do you know you love them? Because we have passionate sex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you only love them because you guys have passionate sex. So then are you guys connected? No, but we have chemistry. You see, you can interchange these words very easily. They can easily be interchanged, intertwined, but we have to kind of define and give a definition so that people get a clear understanding so they'll know exactly what it is they're feeling.
I'm glad that you bring that up, because I am kind of thinking how, when you said attraction of physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
And intellectually.
And intellectually, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with me, it has to have that intellectual connection.
There's a new word that they're using in terms of dating and relationships. It's a new word for some. It's an old word for others. But this word is called sapiosexual.
What does that mean?
Sapiosexual is when somebody is just attracted to another person's mind. So you hear people when they describe their ideal mate, they'll say they're looking for they're sapiosexual. That means they're attracted to the person's mind and their intellect, how they think.
I really love that. I think that's what the most thing that I am attracted to a man is their sapio. What is that?
Sapio.
Sapio.
Sexual.
Sapio sexual.
Sapio.
Sapio.
It's SAPIO.
Oh, sapio.
Sapio.
Sapio. Whatever.
Sexual.
But anyways, yeah, I think I love people who are intellectual and they know how to maintain that the intellectual mind in every conversation, even you're probably having sex. I still love that. I am very much attracted to people who are really like very what do you call that, very smart, very witty guys.
You like people who can articulate.
There you go.
Formulate their thoughts and allow their thoughts to come out in words that make sense, but not only make sense, that has some depth to it.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I am very.
That's the type of guy that tames you.
Yes.
Okay, I guess. See, I told you could be tamed. I just told you.
That's the only one that can. But you know what? It's so hard to find them. Sorry. Listen, I told you a few weeks ago that I like a man yeah, the physical aspect,
Yeah.
the the what did they said? The spiritual aspect, emotional and spiritual. I put them together, and then what is the other
Mentally.
one? And then financially.
Financially.
So the intellectual is actually what really tame me. Without any of those things, yeah, it's just I am not compromising anything. But anyways, I'm going back to my question.
Yes.
Yeah, my question is, so we have all those things: spiritual, mental, emotional, um, physical, financial.
Okay.
Yeah. So right. So and the other one, I'm not gonna
Intellectual.
the
We'll just say
intellectual.
intellectual.
Yeah. So now let's say we have two of those. Let's say it is the physical and let's say spiritual. The physical and mental are missing under those manner, because I seen a lot of people. Where I'm going into this is a lot of people actually are still falling in love with people who cannot actually physically um, what do you call it, physically contribute to the relationship.
But they're falling in love?
Yeah, but they
Okay,
love it.
but we can't blame someone who falls in love for something that they like. They may be falling in love for something that they like that you don't like. So you can't blame them for falling in love with something that they're attracted to that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So you might fall in love with something or someone, and they may have a quality that somebody else would say, well, how can she fall in love with him?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's something for everyone. And you
Yeah.
have to know what you like, what works for you, like the financial and the sapiosexual, that works for you.
Sapiosexual.
But,
I like
for
that.
someone else, it may be different.
Yeah, well, yeah, totally. I totally understand what you're saying. What I'm trying to say is, uh, you see, let's say people are in a relationship now. They fall in love with all those attributes.
Okay.
All those five that I mentioned.
Okay.
And now something had happened, and they are still falling in love without the sex, without anything else, but they are falling in love with they already have that connection,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. How does people maintain those connection that they have to each other?
I'm not quite following you, but you said if they're still maintaining the connection, obviously there's a gravitational pull. There's something at the center that is causing the magnetism to remain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if there's something at the center, which is at the core of the relationship, it continues to allow the relationship to maintain because of the gravitational pull,
Mm-hmm.
then sometimes it's undescribable. Sometimes we don't know what that gravitational pull is. It's between those two people and they just have it.
Well, yeah, the actually main question that I was gonna ask, can they still love, the other person, when the first attraction, the main attraction that actually make them committed to be, to fall in love with this
Okay.
person, and those two are missing, you know.
Well, there's according to Greek mythology, there's four depths of love. So love can hinge and hang on different parameters, or because there a depth of love could be, okay, maybe I'm not in love anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but I still love you. But maybe I'm just not in love with you, but I still love you. Okay, so we're still using the word love because I still have this affectionate gravitational pull towards you, which still says I love you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not in love with you. Okay, but is the love that I have for you strong enough to keep me wanting to maintain the relationship and hang in there? So again, that's case by case. It depends on the individual who is in that scenario. So it's a case by case situation. So like I said, there's so many. There's layers to love. There's a word they use called phileo. You ever heard that term? You ever heard that? What were you gonna say?
I said, what do you call that? The filet food.
Oh no, not filet, phileo, which is where we get our English, which is where the words Philadelphia comes from.
Oh.
That's why Philadelphia is
I'm
known.
learning a lot here.
That's why Philadelphia is known as the city of brotherly love.
Oh wow!
But
No,
we
have
call
to go
it
to Philadelphia.
those of us who are from Philly, we call it the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. So phileo simply means that's a type of love that almost like it's a family love, brotherly, sisterly type of love. Okay? But then you have another love which is called eros, which is where we get our word erotica.
What is erotica means?
Erotica's touchy-feely, physical.
Oh, okay, physical. Okay.
Okay, touchy-feely,
Affection.
affection.
Yeah.
That's where erotica. It's that thing that wants you to
Yeah.
touch and feel.
Yeah, that's the start of lust.
Absolutely. But see, it grows. It is a progression. And then we have another word, which is where we get this word agape. You've heard of that
Yes,
word.
I
Most
think
people know that word.
I think yes, I think I heard that, but I don't know the meaning.
It just simply means unconditional love.
Oh, agave love.
Agape, A-G-A-P-E, agape, unconditional
Agape.
love.
I thought it's agape.
No, some people pronounce it agape, but agape. So
Agape.
either way, but again, that's an unconditional love. So that's that love that maintains unconditionally. It's not because I love you because, I love you just because, or I love you in spite of. That's agape.
Unconditionally.
That's unconditionally.
Well, lust causes deep confusion and hurt and should not be mistaken for love, right?
Well, it should not, and I think we're going to get into some what differentiates between the two. That's what we're going to get into today on this show. And so my goal is to give some great examples of love versus lust.
That's good. So our number one relationship coach will give us some examples. So I want to actually say the first one.
Okay.
Love says me. Lust says we. What do you mean by that?
That's self-explanatory because, okay, so when people often ask me when I'm doing seminars and things, they always say one of the things that I can almost rest assured what's going to come up is, okay, you in the back, can you tell me what's the difference between love versus lust? And I'll say, I'm going to make this very simple. The simplistic answer is love says we. Lust says me. So love is selfless. Lust is selfish. Lust is about what I want at the moment when I want it, and I'm going to try to get it by any means necessary, whatever that entails. That's what I'm going to do. Love can be patient. Love can wait. Love is inclusive. Love is not just a selfish thing. It's so selfless, and it has the ability to encompass each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So lust says me, love says we.
Well, I only know what one definition of love.
What's your definition?
It's me.
Okay, so that's lust.
I don't lust myself.
Are you sure?
Because
are you sure
I don't
that's
lust
love?
myself.
Because if it's all about you, then that means it's you. You love you. And loving you is not a bad thing, but do you have enough love inside of you to include somebody else, or you just want to keep it to yourself?
I just want to keep it to myself.
Well, then if we find a sapiosexual guy, then he's going to have trouble. You just said earlier in the show that what turns you on is a sapiosexual guy.
I think there's no such thing.
Someone who's sapiosexual, then he's going to have trouble.
The sapiosexual guy is actually kind of like dream. It's in La La Land.
Not necessarily, because as we think, so it becomes. So if it's something that you have up here that you want, see this. So my new mission now is to teach on what I call expanded conscious dating.
What is that?
That's my new.
What
I've been
is
working
that?
on. Expanded conscious dating is not. It's all about not focusing on what's missing, but focus on what you plan or intend to create. So your intention,
I can create.
your attention is now coupled with intention. So whatever you put your attention on, you put the intention behind it, and then you watch the universe bring it.
So can I just draw my man and then you bring it to me?
I won't bring it to you. The universe is a master choreographer, though, and I believe the universe can. But it's all about.
I'm making him a creator
if we
now.
become what we, if we are what we think, then we have to ask ourselves, what are we thinking about?
I like that part. I think I like that part. Well, let's get back to love and lust here.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this is really really cute because I know that there are different cultures around the globe which they prioritize lust versus love, and they still end up in a good relationship. For instance, I'm not gonna say it because she probably watching. I'm not gonna snitch you on my show, but I know people who are just thinking about having sex.
They're thinking about it?
Yeah, just sex. Also, I was having a conversation on one of my friend, and she asked me, "It's like, how can you handle without any sex?"
Okay.
And I said, focus and determination and discipline to yourself. Those are the words. Those are the key how you can handle it.
Okay.
And she was like, I cannot live without sex a night.
Okay.
And I was like, and then I was kind of like, trying to evaluate her in the back of my mind, and I just realized that it's part of her culture. Her culture, it's actually outside. I don't want to say the country because I have her in social media shows before.
Okay.
But I believe that in their country, they are openly sexual.
Okay, so reality check for you. In the U.S. of A., we're openly sexual.
Yeah, we are too. Yes.
So in the U.S. of A., we're not all about abstaining.
What is abstaining?
Abstaining is not having sex before marriage. We're not all about that. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's just their culture, because in our culture, we don't practice, or neither do we teach abstinence. That's not taught. Mm-hmm. I mean, in some religious sects, of course. But now, how many people follow through with that? In a lot of religious sects, they talk about abstaining and no fornication and all of that. But how many people really follow through with that? There may be some, but the thing is, I think that whatever works for you, you have to go with what works for you.
Yeah, I think
whatever
so, yes.
works for you, because we learn through observation, we learn through experimentation, and then we learn through maturation. When you get to the part of the maturation, learning part of it, that's understanding what is a fit for me, what works for me, because I've matured into who I am to get an understanding that I've experimented,
Mm-hmm.
I've watched, and then I tried.
Mm-hmm.
But I've matured into what I now know
Mm-hmm.
works for me.
Yeah.
So I think you have
yeah.
to go with what works for you.
Exactly, and it's not only it's not only about what works for you and what goes with your values. Does that make sense? I have friends who is like, hey, let's go out and find a one night stand or something, and I said, I was looking in their face and I said yes, but in the back of my mind I will do whatever I want to do myself.
Okay.
But that is just a conversation to be with friends, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna do it, right? Because I make a decision for myself what I wanna follow, what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like what you said earlier, it's what fits for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, but you said something too that I think is extremely important: is what fits for you, but then what are your core values?
Yes.
You have to know what your core values are and what you're willing to do, what you won't do, so that you don't compromise your core values.
Yes. I like that.
See, I told you you're tameable. Oh, I told you.
Well, I'm tameable, but do you think I really gonna go with it? But anyways, let's go to the number 2. Love is to desire with the heart, but lust is to desire with the eyes, as in what you see.
Yeah, I think again that's self-explanatory. Love is the desire with the heart. It's simply it's a heartfelt thing, but lust is the desire with the eyes. It's just simply what you see, what you want, so it becomes a physical thing. You just want to be able to touch it, you want to be able to hold it, you want to be able to get it, and then it's all about what you see. So lust has this to me, lust has this clear vision of the less important things. Love digs deeper. Love goes deeper. So again, love taps into what you talked about earlier, into the connection aspect of it. Wanting to have the connection, wanting to create some synergy. That's a power word for me. Synergy. Synergy is when two people come together. They bring good energy, and then when they bring good energy, they connect the energy together, and so they create what we call some synergy, which it becomes synergistic. So now you got two people who are synergistically involved. So something good can come out of two people who are synergistically involved because of their synergy. I use a phrase all the time. I use a statement all the time. To me, when the energy's wrong, my conversation's not long. Because our vibe, we don't have the vibe. Now, two people can connect who don't have the vibe, but they feel like they have something physical and they want to get together. So would that be considered love? Absolutely not. It would be considered two people who have this burning desire that they want to get together and do something together, but it's just lust.
But do you think that that lust, that initial physical attraction, lust, can take them to the love? Because I seen a lot of people that started having sex,
Yeah.
and then eventually they become,
Yeah.
they got married, they got children, and it started with that. I believe that having sex in the beginning always, it can work.
I'm not saying that it can't because, one of the most misunderstood concepts in the universe is love. Because as much as we try to figure love out, sometimes love throws us a curve. So we don't always understand it. We can understand the principles that go along with it. Principles are something that's constant. Principles are something that remain. But yet and still, it's still one of the most misunderstood concepts on the universe.
It's hard.
Because it's a matter of the heart.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we don't know the direction that the heart is going to go.
Exactly. I think I literally I'm 120% agree with that. Love is something like the longest word in the dictionary that you cannot figure out how it goes. It's really, really hard. It's not easy. It's not, you always think that this lust, that physical attraction that you see, that you feel from other people, it can actually blind you to interpret it as love. And I think that's a lot of problem of women these days, that whoever can give them the good sex is the person that they will love forever. I don't think
Well,
so.
I think that there are a lot of women who've had great sex, who've had amazing sex. But I think when you come from this, where I'm talking about now, getting this understanding, and this is what I'm starting to teach, is this expanded conscious perspective on dating. It's not about the sex. It's not about the money. It's not about that.
It's not about the money,
Yeah,
money.
it's not. It's not about that. It's about something that's a little. There's this what we call this. How would I describe it? It's what we call the depth of being able to get get through somebody to get to somebody. That's all. It's like that's so different because now I'm going beyond what I see to get to the realm of the spirit of the individual, which is really the character, the makeup of the individual, and so that's a deeper conscious connection. That's a higher conscious movement, and so when you get that, you got something that sometimes is just unexplainable.
Unexplainable. I like that. The feeling, that unexplainable feeling when you meet somebody, and I'm gonna actually base this on my own experience. I felt this so many times. I'm not a teenager anymore. I know that I've grown. I've been through things.
Okay.
And I seen all the misinterpretation of love. Oh my God, he likes me. Especially let me put it on a women's perspective here, where when a guy start telling you you're beautiful, right? You're beautiful. Oh my God, you're so cute. This and that. And I used to listen and believe that, right? And then eventually you realize that's not really that's really not an attraction, not even an attraction or love. It is more of getting into your pants, which is lust. And then you get excited, you start like, oh my God, this guy likes me.
Okay.
Then eventually you figure out, no, it's not.
I don't totally agree with that 100% because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I think for somebody who may believe you may be beautiful, and he may be saying,
I believe I'm beautiful.
No,
Don't get me wrong.
He may believe it, and he may think that. And so what he believes and what he thinks is what he's interpreting to you. And so he's being vocal to speak it to you. Now, could there be an underlying motive? Sure. But that doesn't negate the fact that he may think you are beautiful. He may think you have a great personality. And so he's sharing that with you. So it doesn't mean in every case that somebody may have an underlying motive either. They may want you to know that they think you're an amazing looking woman. And so they want to share that with you. So again, that's something that you have to figure out. Does this person have an underlying motive? And if so, what is it? Maybe he doesn't. Is he looking to love me, or is he looking to just lust me? That's a question. That's a question.
I like how you turned that around.
That's a question you have to figure out. Is he really looking to love me, or is he just looking to lust me?
I think he's just looking to lust me.
Okay, well, that's something you have to figure that one out.
Okay, well, Dolores said, awesome show will, well said. And he said, true, you are right about that last, Regi. That's what she said.
Thank you, Dolores. I appreciate you for concurring with that. Thank you.
Let me ask you a question before we go on the break, so
Okay.
we can go on the third one. Do you think the sign? A lot of people actually believe that when they meet a person with the same sign, no matter if it's lust or love, they go with that sign. They believe in that sign. Do you believe on sign?
Are we talking about astrological signs
Yes,
now?
yes.
I've been asked that a lot, and the only thing that I can say in terms as it relates to answering that question, I think there are certain traits that signs do carry with them. I think like if you're a Virgo, there are certain traits that a Virgo has. I think if you're an Aquarius, there are certain traits that an Aquarius has. So yes, I do think that there are certain traits that come along with whatever sign you are. And so those traits do show consistencies with those signs. And so now, the next question would be, so do you think two Virgos could get along? Or do you think two Aquariuses could get along? Or do you think two Cancers could get along? Anything is possible.
I think so too. And I think, yes, those signs, maybe, yes, they are like assigned to different signs to get along. But I do believe though that even though it says your sign cannot get along with other signs, if you work it out, I think it does go hand in hand. It is all about dealing with your incompatibility. It's not about, it is about dealing with your incompatible. I cannot even incompatibilities.
Okay.
Rather than just dealing with your compatibilities. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So here's what needs to happen so that you can discover you don't want to waste their time, nor do you want to waste your time. You have to have, what are your deal breakers, what are your deal makers, and what are your non-negotiables. you have to know. And so just because I'm a Virgo and you're a Virgo, if there are some things that are red flagging me based off of my deal breakers, I'm really not going to continue to pursue or waste my time because these red flags are constantly popping up. So I am not going to waste my time because I already see where it's going. Now, another Virgo, I could have my deal breakers, deal makers, non-negotiables, and these red flags are not popping up. So hey, maybe it's worth pursuing because I'm not getting these signals that this is going to be a waste of time. So it's all about, it all starts with you. Because at the end of the day, before we take this break, I think this is a great way to go out on. At the end of the day, the only person that we have control of in any relationship is us.
It's yourself.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
the only
yourself.
person you have control of in any relationship. So know what you want, know what's happening for you, go eat it. Excuse
That's
me.
right.
Thank you.
Well, yes. Well, that's a great point, Mr. Number One Relationship Coach C. Regi Rodgers. We're gonna be right back. Please stay tuned. Don't go away because we have so much things more to talk about. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to say something in the comment box. Or if you want to be your voice to be heard on this show, please call in 702-623-8889, and in the future we're gonna have the telephone number on the screen, but for now, please comment, share. We will be right back after these messages.